go. Hey, how's it going, everybody? How's it going, Jeff? Welcome to a little special late night stream. You know, I figured we did it a little bit late so the West Coast and the East Coast can both get in on some of that sweet Nintendo Collector Volume 2 information that we got to drop. In case you guys didn't know, we have the lovely Jeffrey Wittenhagen, co-founder of Premium Edition Games and the founder of Hagen's Alley's Books, coming. He is also the main author of the books as well. But yeah, so he's coming on in to give us some information about how all of that stuff's going and what's coming next with that. And then afterwards, we're going to be doing a little Q&A section. And also, I just want to say, Melinda McClure, thank you for coming on out to the stream tonight.
Yeah, so the idea was I reached out over to Frank so we could do an update for Kickstarter backers first, talking Switch Collector Volume 2, covering the first half of the second year of the Nintendo Switch, as well as the reprint of Switch Collector Volume 1. Got some stuff to show off, and then we'll talk a bit about Premium Edition. If anybody has any questions, we'll do an open book question and answer, and you know, Frank might yell at me if I reveal too much.
You know, they do say that I'm the one who has to keep Jeff in line when the other guys aren't around. When JP and Barry are gone, Frank and Jeff play. That was MGC in a nutshell, right?
Stadium Frank came out of the woodwork was MGC.
Hold on, you just lost some volume out of nowhere. Let me make sure I didn't change the sound.
Maybe I was too loud. But yeah, and I moved around my collection, so I got some premium treats here. We got volume 1 and 2 of the premium edition stuff, as well as the back of the Switch Collector slipcase right there too, which has a Wata on it doing his.
A beautiful shrine, really, is what it is. A beautiful shrine to all the awesome things that we have all made. Now, you know, I actually, speaking of, I am in the Switch Collector Volume 2. I did do some writing for that, so it will technically be the first time something that I've written is like printed on a piece of paper, so that's pretty cool. I'm pretty pumped to be like, hey, look at that. See that? I wrote that right there.
So we will find it when we go through. Just waiting for some people to trickle in right now, or should I go?
Yeah, pretty much just waiting for it, because the way Twitch like kind of rolls out the going live updates can be a little bit quick. I got to put out another tweet. Bada bing, change your name over to the live name.
This is the Volume 1. Switch Collector Volume 1 right here. This was what was released. You know, last year it was fully pushed out. 2020 finished printing, shipped out beginning of 2020. Yeah, 2020 finished printing, shipping out 2020.
Sorry, just flipping some stuff around and getting this set up. How you doing tonight, Melinda? What are you? How's your day been going? And how's your day been going, Jeff? You've been hard at work all day, right?
Yeah, I had, this morning we had to have a hole on the roof patched in the garage. So actually we had a lot of wind out here because it's been a brisk 80 degrees all week, and then all of a sudden it got cold. It was about 34 degrees this morning, but like we had some winds, some crazy winds. So I had a bunch of stuff damaged out back that I had to fix. And while I was doing that and waiting for the roofers, what I did do was gathered up challenge patches and unboxing patches and mailed those all out today. So what I do is I hand mail all the envelopes myself for all the challenges for Premium Edition when it comes to all of our patches for unboxings as well as challenges, and that's for Volume 1 and Volume 2. So I had to do a bunch of envelopes. I do it every month, beginning of the month, like first week I'll do the challenges.
Just knock them all out at once. That's the way to go.
I was listening to some music, doing some patches this morning since I had a little bit of time waiting for the roofers.
Oh yeah, that's the way to. Anytime that I'm, trying to do some hardcore work, the music on is the way to go. I always feel like my neighbors know when I'm having a like hard long day of premium edition games work because I'm just like loudly making coffee and blasting lo-fi with my windows down. That's like full on Frank work mode when I'm in the zone.
And crazy. The other thing we've been trying to catch up on is tracking numbers for all shipments. It's thousands and thousands of tracking numbers. That's a thing.
Yeah. So
we're fully done. I have a spoiler list right here for anybody on the stream. Probably can't read it too well, but literally production for Series 3, and it's all done. Like, waiting on like one piece, and that's it. And Nintendo for different approvals. That's literally it. Like, we've already. Yeah, that's actually one big update while we wait for people to trickle in and start talking Switch Collector. All of the items for Series 3 when it comes to like manuals and slipcases and sleeves and yeah, all of that stuff has been ordered in production.
Yeah. That beautiful stuff's already being worked on.
No, it's ordered and in production. That happened this afternoon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Worked on in production.
Yeah, that's a brand new one. So yeah, that is in process. So we got everything in early enough, which is good. Which means we should be able to start shipping in a couple months. Less. Thanks in the stoned mode.
I'm freaking just full of sushi, honestly.
Full of sushi.
Trying to figure out why I'm doing everything I can to get you to be a little less choppy too. So I don't know what it is, but
the video on my side's perfect. So
yeah.
Is everybody saying I'm choppy on Twitch?
Well, it's going directly from me, so. But I do this with like 4 other people, so usually they look pretty good.
They're all choppy.
No. What can you do? That's all. There's only so many options for like capturing this kind of stuff. So.
Okay. Well, I think we should start her up with the backer update for Switch Collector Volume 2.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Let me move myself here. I'm going to make you a little bit bigger. And go to town, Jeff.
Yeah. Alright, so with Volume 1, showed it off a little bit ago. I did get in the demo proof printing.
Now you flat out froze. Jeff. Okay, well he can't say it's me now, right? I mean, he can.
Alright, man, like...
There we go. Wait, you popped back. Okay, we got you back.
Alright. Let's just do a chat with people with a question and answer, because I'm not going to do a Kickstarter update if I have to continually repeat and stop, and we're doing that. That stuff's not going to work.
Yeah, that would make it look
an update. Better. No, that's not going to work.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that, but... Yeah, but, so yeah, well, let's just, for the people who are here, let's show off what we got.
Well, if the video's not working, we can't show anything off. So. Like, yeah. Cool, man. I'll just answer questions for people about the book or premium. Do a video update or something later on my phone.
Yeah, definitely always with that kind of stuff, not having to go through 2 different things for getting the good quality. It'll be the way to go.
Yeah, I thought we would have the quality that I see on my screen, which is like HD.
Trust me, man. Half my job is with streaming is figuring out why things don't look as good as they do on my side. It's a never-ending issue, my man. Never-ending with that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Discord.
We're good.
But yeah, so you want to maybe we could talk a little bit about anyone. If you have any kind of questions, just drop them in the chat. Jeff, you want to talk a little bit about what we were talking about earlier today about cons we're looking at for the year?
Yeah, we could talk conventions. So basically, we're looking at about 7 or 8 conventions this year for show off books and games and things for premium for Higgins Alley. Next one that's coming up, we're gonna be going to Waco, Texas, and it's Anything Goes Expo. So I think we'll be there, half clothed and running around because anything goes.
Yeah, that of course. Then we got to bring out the togas and everything, right? The beautiful red premium edition togas.
Patches on them.
Yes,
Patch togas.
of course, absolutely.
The patch togas.
Yeah, 100%. What would you say? What convention would you say you're looking forward to the most this year?
Well, if it happens, there's been a couple conventions that didn't happen last year, but there's one that hasn't happened in a couple years, and that's Portland Retro Gaming Expo. PRG is like the Mecca, so it's like the best convention in the world.
PRG? And what month is that usually done in?
Portland Retro Gaming Expo, PRG.
Okay, so that's in Portland.
If you haven't heard about that, you are really young, Frank. Like, everybody knows Portland Retro Gaming. That's where the Tetris World Championships happen. That's on ESPN.
Enough Florida cons that I've never really had to worry about it. We have too many cons here, so.
Gaming? Like, I think all you have is Emerald Coast Con.
We got PlayCon, we got Free Play Florida, we got a few things. More anime cons than like retro game centered cons, but cons in general we have no lack of.
Yeah. Like Portland for retro gaming is like the biggest convention here, and they haven't had it in 2 years.
Oh man, well, that means people are frothing at the mouth to come back. Okay, so we do got a question from Melinda. With the amount of games released physically, how do you plan on if you can get it in one book or make it 2 volumes?
So, Switch Collector is not one book, it's a Switchopedia, encyclopedia. So, this book right here that was released 2 years ago is 312 pages and is just the first year of the Switch. Like, the games are like 2 pages, or, or 2 games, 1 game a page. So, yeah, no, that's not going to happen in 1 volume. And volume 2, which is even larger, is 380 pages, and this is the first half of the second year. So, like, this one's even bigger and only covers half the year. So, we did the math, and getting up to year 5 would be 10 volumes. This is already 10 volumes, and it would take me 18 years to get it done while I'm working on premium. So, it's going to be a while while I work on the next volumes. So, I mean, we're doing it the right way, though. We're giving lots of coverage, talking about the games in depth, not just doing, like, tiny little blurbs on every game. We're making it a big history of the Switch. So, answer is no. It's going to be multiple volumes.
Fun fact: the Switch Collector actually fits into the Dewey Decimal System. We, designed it from the start to fit into there. Just kidding.
Sure.
I was watching something earlier, and it was one of those like future past joke things, and it was like the Dewey Decimal System. They're like, well, you will absolutely need this forever. It's very important you learn how this works. And it's like, yes. Looking back at the year 2022, yes, the Dewey Decimal System was very important for encyclopedias and stuff. We didn't just, get Google.
That's why we have the collector's aspect with Switch Collector as well. You can document your collection in there and have it as a physical aspect. And notes in there and rating.
Physical stuff is always the way to go. I've looked over my copy of Switch Collector Volume 1 a few times already just because it's all in such nice quality.
I mean, this is my personal copy, and like, I got check marks in the book. Other thing I do, Frank, is I put check marks in the digital section.
Ooh, okay.
So Guns, Gore, and Cannoli, and Tiny Metal both got a physical release. So I put a check mark when they get a release. Because the idea is the digital-only section of the Switch Collector is games we would like to be released physically. So if they get a release later, like, that's good. And we check it out. It's a good fun fact, Frank.
Well, I think that's... Oh, you're good.
When researching for Volume 2, I noticed a certain game not have a physical.
Oh, yeah?
And we happen to be just approved as a physical publisher at the time. So when I noticed that Robot Named Fight didn't have a physical, we reached out. And that's how we got the... as a brand new company, that's how we got the contract for Robot Named Fight.
That's
You
awesome.
got the slipcase.
It's great when you, I mean, like, that's when definitely, it's so fun to watch our community come together and let us know about games that don't really have the spotlight on it that they should. So it's always good to know that from the start, you know, Premium Edition was born from that kind of stuff. Hey, what's up, Maverick Hunters? Thanks for stopping by, my man. Mr. J said, by the time Jeff's done with the Switch Collector books, he'll be full-on Gandalf, Wizard, Greybeard, and all.
I'm already Greybeard, man. Like, I'll be...
Just shaving it.
Yeah, we did the math, though. I'd be, like, in my 60s. By the time I finish through year 4 or year 5. When I'm in year 5, I'll be in my 60s. Like, I'll be old.
Volume 4 of the Switch Collector.
We'll be on the Switch
Published by
7.
Jeffrey Wittenhagen.
We'll be, like, 3 generations beyond the Switch by the time.
Yeah, exactly. The Switch will be a memory at that point. I mean, okay, so maybe that's a good question. What are you planning on doing when say, like, the next Nintendo console comes out? Are you going to do, like, another series with that as the focus, or are you going to kind of laser sight Nintendo Switch until you catch up or finish?
I'm OCD.
Yeah.
So I like to finish things. However, if you listen to the Switch Mania Playcast and predictabilities and things from my last year's predictability, I mentioned, you know, they always talk about Switch Pro, right, Frank?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody talks about Switch Pro. My analysis is that we're not going to see another Nintendo console.
That's my guess. I think Nintendo would be fools to kind of abandon the base that they've built with the Switch.
We're going to do this. This is the iPhone 8. Now they're on the iPhone 13. They're going to keep doing Switch iterative updates because the way that they have these cartridges, they can be upgraded indefinitely. Bigger sizes. And as prices come down. So they're going to continually upgrade the Switch, upgrade the tech inside. So your Switch Pros will happen. It just will always be backward compatible because the tech isn't going to change.
No, I'm with you 100% on that. Honestly, that's pretty much aligns with how I feel about it. Is I really think the Switch is going to be a platform rather than a console, and is going to go on for a lot of iterations and have a lot of this is best played on the Switch, whatever kind of situations like we got with the later end of like the PlayStation 4, Xbox One generation. I think that we're going to see a lot of that kind of stuff, which is fine. I'm totally okay with that. I love the idea of being able to stick with my Switch for another 10 years. And that's something that would motivate me as a collector to keep hammering down and trying hard to fill out my Switch collection. That's really what I think the ideal situation, scenario, whatever you want to say, for the Switch would be an iterative platform.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is that's dangerous for those that are trying to collect every game. I mean, like, we got members of our team that want everything. And it's like, I just collect cool stuff and I make cool stuff. Like, that's what we do. Like, I don't need everything. But I do know what I like, and I like a lot of stuff that's on the Switch. So it's still dangerous. I mean, me and my book series would essentially go on forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to figure out a way to streamline things. Probably get some community members maybe to help out, take the mantle from me. Where I just do the design and let them work on the content or something. Like, that would be the only way to get it done reasonably.
Yeah, would you be really put it a little bit, like, put it in a lot more hands touching it.
Yeah,
get it done.
Exactly. Get it done, and then I just gotta put on finishing touches.
So we got Maverick Hunter says, I agree with you both. I think that the OLED has some secret features yet to come. And then he said, I think we have the Switch Pros. I think they're the OLED, and Nintendo just needs to update the crap out of the dock to make it look nicer, quote unquote, which I think is just fine as it is. Then Mr. J said, I definitely feel that they will keep making Switch consoles, but if they want to keep third-party support, they need to get something with more power. PS4, Pro, Xbox One/X, and power would be good for close to the tech in the Stream Deck, at least. And hey, what is up, Babadoosh? That is a great name. Hello. Thank you for stopping by as a first-time chatter. I think Jokester brings up a really good talking point, and that's definitely something I will always make a point. Thank you so much for the host vinyl. I always make a point that if it's a multi-platform and I know that it at least runs okay on the Switch, I will always buy it on the Switch if I have to make the decision. And I think that's an extremely strong aspect that the Switch has. But as the current generation continues to get further away from the Switch, I think it's going to be harder and harder for these companies to actually do third-party ports without going the cloud route, which give me, because at that point then you're not really getting a physical. You know, you're getting something that's dependent on servers and all that other kind of stuff. So I think that is a really good point that Nintendo does need to drop a very, like I know how Maverick was saying how the OLED probably has some secret features, which I do agree. I think the OLED has a little bit more power than it's been let on to have. But I think that Nintendo really needs to drop something that is like, hey, here's a marketed performance boost for the Nintendo Switch to bring it up more up in line with modern systems. I think that's really going to be something that they have to do and make a really big deal about it. This we can't call it the Switch U. You know, it's not going to be a Wii U situation.
I mean, the OLED to me is not the Switch Pro. The Switch Pro is exactly what they're asking for. It needs to be HD, man. It needs to be 4K. It needs to support the modern stuff. The Steam Deck is going to put a little fire under Nintendo when it comes to that, because from my perspective, especially now that we're on the other side as well as the publisher side, is that due to the chip shortage and everything, Nintendo didn't want a chance putting all their eggs into a basket of new tech when they couldn't produce it on a mass scale.
Yeah.
It'd run into massive, delays. So what they decided is just to do the easy win, which is upgrade the OLED and make some dock modifications to get out an iterative update to the Switch, having an OLED. But they're going to have to do a Pro. I'm hoping that they do what we're talking about, which is literally everything is best played with certain system, like you were saying, Frank, which makes sense, because then when Switch Pro comes out, say some games run only on the Pro, but you still play your entire collection on the Switch Pro. Just, if you want to play, I don't know, if they had Spider-Man Miles Morales on the Switch Pro, it's not going to run on your Switch, because the way that they've gotten things like Doom to work on the Switch is they did that, where it would take the quality or the frame rate and, adjust it as things got too intense, kind of like my video.
Scaling or whatever.
Yeah,
I think that's
like what my video's doing as I talk. Yeah. The resolution scaling on there. That's what it does, and that's how the programmers are getting around it, and it's also why certain games like Troll and I are really bad, because they didn't optimize it, or that WWE game in year one. They didn't do that, and they're terrible. If we get a Switch Pro, though, it's going to avoid that. We're going to have better ports, which is what we all want. And 100% agree, doing that, you're talking about when you have it streamed to the console, that's it's just a screen at that point.
Yeah, the cloud versions of games.
Yeah, the cloud. It's not truly having ownership. I mean, that being said, I'm very excited about the Steam Deck, just from a compatibility perspective. In fact, that it's completely open. when it comes to a Nintendo console that will always be a closed construct, I do want to see them upgrade some power in there. That way we can have an awesome future-proof system. Yeah. Craziness, though.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, it's going to be really interesting to see how Nintendo handles the growing technology gap between the opposing consoles and the Switch. It's one of those things where Nintendo can either knock it out of the park, or Nintendo can stick to their guns like they tend to, and they might hurt themselves in the long run. I hope and pray that Nintendo makes a really smart decision and embraces that technology gap and kind of releases some kind of a gap closer in order to bring that gap to be less of a thing. I think that's going to be really important for them going forward in the continuing success of the console. Because even if they didn't, I still think the Switch is still going to pull numbers just by its very consumer base, and the hybrid console aspect is such a strong aspect. But that console deserves
Nintendo.
Yeah, it's Nintendo. Yeah, it deserves to stand shoulder to shoulder with these guys, and I think that they know that. So I think something like that is coming. We got. Babadouche asked, "Are the books off the boat yet?"
So I will tell you, and we haven't showed it yet, but okay. So I was showing off these, which was the advanced copy. This is the first print run of Volume 1. This is the advanced copy. One thing I showed Frank before we streamed is this. Look the same. This is the retail. This is the actual print. This. I don't know if you can comes on the screen.
The gilding, yeah.
Shiny. So I upgraded the gilding to silver. Bookmark ribbons on there, and it's sealed in plastic. Yeah. And not only did that one come, but second printing, Volume 2 or Volume 1. Same deal. I upgraded that. Silver. So basically, are they off the boat yet? Nope. They are not. It's one of those things where even I think Limited Run posted a press article. There are like 2,000 plus freighters that are waiting to be loaded and unloaded at ports and things. We shipped these suckers out like over 2 or 3 months ago. The issue is that freight shipping, you don't get tracking. So essentially, we know what freight ship it went on, and until that ship arrives at the port and it arrives in customs, we don't get anything. It sucks. So like we're in the black. We're like, it'll arrive when it arrives, is what they tell me. And I ordered those two as well as the Punch-Out book all together. I don't know if you're aware of the Punch-Out book or anything. There's a Mike Tyson's Punch-Out book that's like huge. That one's coming as well. And so, yeah, we're just waiting on, confirmation to make sure that they come safely. And then once they show up at the ports and customs, there's a big backlog over there too. That's what everybody doing physical is worried about right now. But yeah, they've been submitted. I actually asked them to send me these a long time ago, the ones that were printed. They were supposed to send me the slipcase. They only sent me the regular. So yeah, it's super shiny though.
Sure is.
What reviews did you write, Frank?
I know we got a bunch of my JP Switch Mania ones. I did.
I opened it up.
Oh, Ice Cream Surfer. Oh man, what a
The Adventures of Elena Temple.
Yeah.
Each one that you wrote, actually put your name in there.
Awesome. Heck yeah.
On each one. So it says, by Frank Wood, review by Frank Wood.
You and me had a good time with some of when we would just get a real zany one and we would have to talk to someone about it. I saw on that page the Ice Cream Surfer. I distinctly remember us talking about that one as well. Because it was about, like, superpowered people who rode ice cream and they fought the Broccoli Empire. Remember it had the Broccoli Hitler?
Yeah, Broccoli Hitler.
Yeah, Broccoli Hitler. That's a thing that is on the Nintendo Switch. Low key, but Ice Cream Surfers.
Like insanity. Yeah, anytime anybody wrote a review that wasn't me, I gave them, credit in article so that way you can see them. Yeah, because I know there's a lot of collaboration with websites and stuff. Barry wrote a couple. There's also one game that was missing from Volume 1 that I had to create a whole section for.
Ooh,
because... So, ironically, the one game that was missing physically from Volume 1 was JP's favorite game of all time.
Why?
It's thousands of hours into it on the Switch. It's not in there.
Which one? Is it Let's Dance 2019? Oh, Rocket League!
I don't know when or how the game got removed from my original list, but when I looked at a major Switch list, I'm like, Rocket League. It's not in the book. I'm looking in there, and I'm like, it's gone. It's not there. I remember writing it at the review. That's why I was like, so I had to add it to it. Ridiculous. So instead, and we did not add it back to Volume 1 when I reprinted. Like, I left it out, and it's always been in Volume 2. I did not modify anything in Volume 1 when we reprinted. Yeah, and then we talked about the limited, the small-scale indie publisher spotlight in this version. So this is the first year where we had these 3 companies come out of the woodworks to start releasing limited quantity games. I can't call it limited run company because there's limited runs, so we called it small scale indie publishers. So limited run, super rare, and play exclusives came out in year 2.
So we have Babadook said retro editions for Series 2 update timeline. If you just have retros from Series 2, you should have tracking by now, right, Jeff? The retros
not necessarily tracking, but your stuff should have shipped if you don't have a Robot Named Fight Deluxe with you.
Yeah.
That deluxe book is in the same boat as our Switch Collector stuff. It's sitting in freight.
Mm-hmm.
We're waiting on it. But I have the retro, like Demon's Tier right there and Robot Named Fight is right there. Like they're shipped. I also got the Retro Fighters version over here too. Like all 3 of those are shipping. If you haven't gotten it, you can reach over. But if you have a deluxe with it, they all ship together. So it's also why we don't have a deluxe right now with Series 3, because we want that to be shipped out before we start another game with the deluxe with a guide. Forever, man.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the move. While we still have, we're figuring out how long the deluxe takes and everything like that. The deluxe is so cool, but we want to make sure that we have a realistic timeline of producing them, so we don't have you guys, because no one wants to wait a year for their game or anything like that, So
we're not doing that again.
Yeah, being able to.
We are doing the deluxe, Frank. It's for Sunshine Anthology, which is Camp Sunshine and Sunshine Manor. I'm already working on the guide. We haven't put it up for pre-order. It'll probably be series like 5. We actually are able to put it up because it hasn't been finished porting yet for the Switch. The thing is that I'm gonna have the guide done and ordered, and it's already gonna be on a freighter before like we do pre-order, so that way you don't have to wait forever for our deluxes. Like, we're learning when it comes to this stuff. Like, we're like, all right, do a pre-order. We don't want y'all to wait a freaking year.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's just, at that point, it's a little bit crazy to literally forget about something existing, and then it shows up, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot, I paid money for this. So it really
also,
is,
like,
this whole thing, it really is a learning process. There's so many moving parts when it comes into the productions of these games and everything that goes into them, that it has been, even in my time as doing a lot more stuff for premium and stuff, I've already learned so many new things because of it, just because, like we said, there's so many moving parts of this.
And you got to think about it, Frank. Before COVID, I could get a book ordered and it would come in like 1 month, maybe 2 max. Like, Switch Collector would have been shipping before Christmas.
Yeah.
Too. Like, now it's like, we don't know. It's weird. Like, if I order something in October, it's shipping before December. And that means at the warehouse and shipping out to everybody and in hand before, like, by Christmas. So, like, the same thing for our deluxes. Like, those would be shipping out shortly. Like, they would have already been shipped out. They would already arrived. But because of COVID and all this ports craziness and everything, like, we have to change the way that we're creating stuff because we don't want people to wait. Which also means that a game like a Cathedral or Phanatopia isn't going to have the potential to get a full hardcover strategy guide just because we don't have the time to wait for all of that production unless we release it way later after the game's already sold out, which is not fun either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because at that point, deluxes would be something that would have to come out after the fact, and that would be, if you think it's a bloodbath to get like our retros like in season 3 before they sold out, you don't want to know what would happen if we were like, all right, deluxes of Cathedral will be dropping, you know, as X amount of time. People would literally go insane, you know. And it would be cool to do that, but like it would be, there would be so many people.
I don't want to drive people insane, right?
People would be so, it would be so cutthroat. Like, you know, something like
Think
that
about
would
it
be
though,
so
Frank.
cool.
Fight is the only thing that's available is the deluxe. So when that arrives, like, we're gonna make sure that everybody follows you on Twitch, Discord, everywhere are tracking, like, all right, so it's arriving on this date. We're gonna have to get it packaged up at our facility because they have to package it all up nicely, and then it'll be up for sale. After everybody gets their copies, then we're gonna open up a second chance sale for Fight. And so, like, that's gonna be a bloodbath because there are no retros, there are no standards left for Fight. We have enough copies that if we have people with any, like, errors or something.
I just want to say, we are 1 follower away from 100, so if there's anyone in here watching who isn't following already, drop that follow. Get that total followers to be 100. I would love to see that. I got Daffodil. We have a first-time chat from Daffodil. Thanks for chatting in. Speaking of tracking, my order with both books says it delivered on the 23rd, but I've yet to get it. I would say for that, shoot us an email so we can look into that for you.
I heard a gling. Did we get that last follower?
Yes, we did. Daffodil followed. Thank you so much. That is 100 followers for the Premium Edition Games Twitch. That is awesome.
Shiny. Yeah. So when you say both orders, you mean both retro orders, I assume?
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like some of the stuff, though, they're getting an order was placed notification, not a shipping notification. Like, if you pre-ordered the Switch Collector books, it'll tell you that the order's been placed, not
shipped.
It
says book 1 and 2. Yeah, book 2 definitely isn't delivered, so...
1 is not.
Yeah.
Neither. They're both... Like, I mean, this is the advanced copy. They're sitting on a freighter right now, arriving at the port, hopefully, this month. So, these are them. And you'll be getting them. If you got the ones with the slipcase, they're also there too. They just didn't send me advanced copies of the slipcase. It comes sealed, shiny, Mark Ribbons, amazingness. I can open up and show off stuff. Anybody in the chat was a contributor to the books, I could open that up, show you. But yeah, that's the one thing. The books have not shipped out yet. As soon as they arrive, they will immediately, though. There'll be no reason not to ship them out. Be doing a lot of manual stuff too, especially the Kickstarter backers. Like, I'm gonna manually make sure those get out. It'll be a while. That's why Switch Collector Volume 3 is going to take forever.
Oh god, yeah, I can only imagine. That'll have to be, we put our lives on hold and start writing, because I mean, gosh, that's not even, oh god.
Think about it, Frank. If I paused Premium Edition games, it would take me 6 months.
Yeah,
I did Volume 2 before we launched Premium Edition. I finished Volume 2. Madness, man. Oh, yeah, it's gonna be an interesting piece because I'm also working on other books. Like I'm doing a expanded edition of my first complete NES book that I've been working on for a couple years. It's 500 pages.
I really enjoyed taking a good look at your books when we were at MGC when I was shilling for all of them. It was pretty cool to actually take a good look at them while I was there, trying to figure out the best way to talk to people about them. I cracked them open, took a look, and I was like, All right. Yeah, this is awesome. I see why people like this Jeff guy.
The bad influence. No. The NES book has been the most requested book. It's been out of print for 5 years now, 6 years now. 2022, 6 years now. But I've been working on making a substantial re-release because the style that I did, some of them I just used the back of the NES box for like the write-ups, and people didn't dig that, so I write a little bit more substance now. But it's still gonna be concise writing in it, but it's gonna cover all regions, all aftermarket homebrew stuff, everything.
Oh, it's gonna be covering a lot of homebrew stuff?
I mean, the NES Oddities book that was at the convention that you saw, that has all the homebrew stuff up to like 2016. But I'm going to do a best of homebrew, and I'm working with some collectors in the homebrew scene to make sure we cover all of the best games that feel like an NES release.
Oh, yeah, because I mean, like, with stuff like NES Maker and stuff, there's just more and more people doing NES homebrew stuff, so that'll be really interesting to see.
Yeah, and actually the convention that we're going to in February, the Anything Goes Expo, it is ran by Christian Dietering. He did the Mother to Earth documentary. He was at Midwest Gaming Classic, but he's also a huge NES homebrew collector. So I'm working with him on the list as well as a bunch of the community for NES Maker to make sure we get all the coolest stuff in there for write-ups. And then I'm gonna have like a honorable mention section where I cover all the other stuff that's like awesome passion projects, but maybe not a full like NES experience.
Yeah. Like, hey, you know, this is...
It's already at 500 pages without adding all that.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I set out to do this quick thing, and I did it, and here's a quick little aside about it. That's really all you need for some stuff.
Yeah. And it'll have NES, Famicom in there, and PAL, and stuff that's in the oddities that I had in there. It's going to almost make that book, like, not as cool anymore, because a lot of that stuff's going to be in the complete NES. But it's gonna be the way that I want to do it, is make sure it's one book that's definitive.
Ooh, I got a good question for you. We got a good question from Maverick Hunter Zero. I have a question for you, Mr. Jeff. When did you decide I want to do this? When were you like, playing games isn't enough, I need to be in it? Because I feel that, and I want to keep trying to get into the business part of the video game world before I die, I promise. So yeah, what was the moment, Jeff, that you decided that you wanted to start creating in the space of video games rather than just consuming?
This. I've been doing this since I was like 5, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like my brother was like telling me, and my sister were telling me during the holidays, they're like, so you finally did it. Like, you've been wanting to make video games since you played the NES. You were a little kid. And like I have like little maps and little drawings of stuff when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
When I started with this, when I turned the page from just a player, because everybody had those like ideas as a kid to want to make stuff. When I turned that page was when I ran a website called the Video Game Masters Club. And I created code for emulation in a browser. So you could play like NES in a browser. You could play arcade games in a browser. You could play Genesis in a browser. And somebody already had the NES version, but I made it so you could like do a lot of logging with it and stuff like that. And I had fun with it. But you couldn't make money on it because it's illegal.
Yeah.
And I got millions of hits a day to the point where it was going to cost me money to host it, so I stopped doing it. But my favorite part about it was I was writing reviews on video games on the website, Hidden Gaming Gems. Before a certain Metal Jesus started to coin the term on his YouTube channel. So I had some guys writing on my site. I don't know if you know the YouTuber Alpha Omega Sin. He was an old YouTuber. He used to be on the Game Chasers a lot on their channel. He was writing on my website along with other guys. And after that died, though, the website, I was like, well, all my reviews are gone. So I was like, let me create a Hidden Gaming Gems book on it. And while I was working on that, I did a fan recreation, Big Box Mother 3. I think you might know the game Mother 3, Frank.
Yeah, you know, a slight, a little
I
bit.
know,
You know,
right?
the Mother series, only a little bit of love for that.
So there's a big box red Mother 3 that's out there. I created the original. Ow.
And actually, if you guys go to the Super RPG Friends YouTube channel, and I believe it was episode 2? Episode 2? I actually got Jeff to pull that bad boy out and show it off. It was episode 2 or 3. So if you guys want to see that Mother 3 thing, you could actually go check that out.
Yeah, and so my version, very rudimentary. Created it though, it was awesome. I actually spray painted the box instead of buying colored boxes and shit. Like I made it myself. Later that did it better, for sure. But I did the release like 10 years ago. Right when my daughter was born. My daughter's almost 10.
Mm-hmm.
And so right when she was born is when I created this. I actually got there was a Fangamer guide for it. I actually got the Fangamer guide, and that was included inside the big box. So you could say, Frank, that might be the first deluxe we released.
There you go.
It had strategy guide.
The original
It had
deluxe.
CIB release. It had a keychain in it. It had perlers that I would have based off of like backer pledges, because back the old Nintendo Age website, on there, it was it was 2012 I want to say, but like back on the Nintendo Age website, people were bidding like auction style on the 10 copies I made. So I was like, well, if it gets over a certain threshold, I'll do this perler of this Mother character. I'll do Lucas, and then I'll do Tony, and then I'll do, you know, all the different characters. So it ended up like doing a bunch of different perlers for it, and then started going and with that book that I was telling you about, the Hidden Gaming Gems book.
Yeah.
I was trying to farm it around to publishers, and they're all like ridiculous, wanting to take 95% of the money or something, and I would like make nothing on it. Yeah, like they just literally didn't want to bother. So I figured out how to publish myself. Got all the contracts, figured out how to do the facilities, the shipping, everything, all the logistics. And then I worked on my first version of the complete NES book. I went around to some conventions because I got an award for my first book from the legendary Walter Day. Old Walter Day from Twin Galaxies. And I met a artist who did the cover, and I ended up finding out after he agreed to do the NES cover, because I liked his art, that it was the Joe Simcoe who did Garbage Pail Kids. So I got the Garbage Pail Kids guy to do my artwork, and the Kickstarter went crazy, went viral. Did a CIB NES release with it called Black Box Challenge, Jeffrey Whittenhagen's Black Box Challenge, and then started doing books, going to conventions, and you know, then a couple years ago, because I applied for Nintendo to be a publisher a long time ago, man, and like 2020, Nintendo said we could do Switch, and that was the goal. As soon as they said we could do Switch, that's when it was go time. And you know, like JP and I were already doing the playcast at that point. Switch Mania playcast, Switch Collector Volume 1 was already done and out, and yeah, we were just looking at, you know, using contacts. But when you know, we started doing the Switch and we were like proving ourselves, we already had the logistics figured out, because I've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah.
So like I started like learning as a hobbyist, and now we're releasing ridiculous stuff at a professional level. I mean, and then we got other crazy fun fan stuff like the canvas robot named Fight picture there that's done by a pixel artist painter, Ryan, out in Texas. Stuff like that, and just having fun with it, man. There's your long-winded answer.
I was gonna say, you got some high praise out of that in the chat. You got, Jeff is literally a god to me. I feel like Wayne right now. I need to bow and scream, I'm not worthy. I noticed that painting, it's sick. Jokester said not to interrupt, but if you didn't figure it out yet, Jeff's a badass. You guys, we definitely, you know, I'd say we got a good group of people who know that you be putting out some awesome stuff for this whole community, and it's awesome to be a part of all of this with you guys, and it's so awesome to have this cool community coming out and hanging out with us on a Tuesday night, talking about some
You know
cool
what was
games, everything
interesting,
like that.
Frank,
Shoot.
is that like my motto was always like when I was doing the books was like if I get a couple people that dig what I'm doing, like I'm having fun doing it, I'll do it forever. And then it turned into like thousands of people buying the books, and I was like, well, looks like I found something cool to do. I'm having fun doing it. And as soon as you can make like games, like this is like mind blowing. I was thinking about it. I was telling you that I was doing the patches, right? I was doing our challenge patches, and I manually mailed them out. I was just thinking, I was like, man, this many people are taking the time to play our games that we're making. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're releasing these games and people are taking their time to play them. That's so cool.
Thousands and thousands of it, yeah.
Awesome. That's amazing. Like, it's mind-blowing. And that's the key, though, is that, like, we move slow so we can make really cool stuff, and we don't plan on not making really cool stuff with every release. Like,
never. That's the goal. The goal, we love putting out cool, unique things within the gaming sphere, and that'll never change for us.
Yeah, and I mean, we're always looking to raise the bar. Had a few comparisons to like working designs at the last few conventions, which is humbling.
Someone said that we're the working designs of Switch releases, and that's literally the highest praise someone can give a huge RPG nerd like me.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, though, is that like now we're raising the bar because we're like, well, if people are going to compare us, we need to like meet that. So we're adding more different, like, I mean, I showed off the crazy gilding, but we're going to add silver foil to a lot of relevant pieces in Series 3 on the releases. We're upgrading the quality.
I keep telling them, foil, foil, foil.
We're upgrading the quality of our slipcases. Like, the slipcases that we have are awesome. We're going... Like, I've seen our new slipcases, and they are the best ones I've seen on any release now. Because, like, our current ones are cool. They're on par with all the others. But the new ones are, like, next level. Next level awesome. And, you know, they're, like...
Can confirm. I saw the new slipcases at MGC, and wow, what a difference.
Yeah, Frank the Tank brought it. The Stadium Frank. It was like the worlds collided.
It was
Franks.
a meeting of the Franks. It was kind of beautiful. Sometimes
awesome.
People are like, oh yeah, Frank did that. And I go, I've been here all day. What the hell are you talking about?
And I mean, it's just wild. And we're always going to try to raise the bar every time. And here's the thing, like, we're not stopping. We got another series coming. Like, we won't be starting it or revealing it until we ship out Series 3. And Series 3, all the items are ordered, so we're literally waiting. We're waiting on Nintendo for some stuff for the cartridges. That's like the major thing, and they took vacation during Christmas. Otherwise, we'd be ordering already. So they got back to me with a couple questions today, and we should be ordering soon. They'll be shipping over. They don't ship freight. They ship via plane, which costs a lot, but they ship via plane. We're from Japan. So yeah, we'll have the Series 3 cartridges. All the items hopefully are there at the same time, and all versions ship out at the same time. That's the goal right there. All the items are done for Series 3. It means that awesome hand-drawn guide, I've seen it. It's mind-blowing. Cathedral hand-drawn game guide.
Oh my god. Oh, I can't wait till we can show that off, Jeff. I can't wait.
I will not spoil that to you guys. You got to see it in person.
Oh god, that might be one of the things that I'm most excited about that we have ever done.
I've shared like what 2 images with you guys in the team, and like I saw the final copy like this weekend before I ordered it, and oh my gosh, it's so good.
Hey Jeff, the hard plastic protectors for the retro edition, that's retroprotectors.com, Super Nintendo ones, right?
So the one that I have is Retro Collector.
Retro Collector. Okay, I might have gotten it switched up.
Yeah, because these ones, thick boy.
That's a big boy.
Boy. They're the only ones that offer this, and they have like a sliding thing on here. But yeah, these are the really thick ones.
RetroGamesCollector.com?
No, I think it's Collector Protector, and they're creating one for our slipcases. Because I use the ones everybody's used to. Like these are the typical ones. So I got Ghoul Grind on the NES. This is the thin ones. These are your normal ones, your retro collector ones. Video game box protectors. That's the website for the thin ones. The thin ones work fine. The thin ones work fine because it's a standard Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64 box. So you can 100% just use those. But if you want the thick boy, which is what I use,
and I'll tell you, you want the thick boy.
By the way, Frank, I did sew the Series 2 unboxing patch.
Oh yeah, you got it on the. Oh, there you go. What I need to do, I think I want to do a beanie with all of my patches.
Cool. That would be bad. That would be you too, man. You always wear beanies.
Exactly.
As you noticed, I haven't done these, which I haven't shown them off on stream.
So,
but these boys.
Oh! Guys, this is Series 3 physical reveal, actually. We've only shown off the designs for these, so.
This one is the thickest one that has the double-sided. Like, this one has Velcro, so you can actually just put this right on your beanie.
Oh, that's so freaking cool, the Velcro.
And it's like screen printed, and then this is like sewn. This is sewn. And then
Cathedral. God, that Turtle Power one, man, that's my favorite, though. That is so freaking cute.
And she, the artist of Phoenotopia, she made that custom for us. Amazing.
I want to give a shout out to the Phoenotopia community at large because they have seriously been producing some of the absolute coolest things that I have seen people make for indie games. From fan art to comics and beyond, it has been so cool getting to know the Phoenotopia community. It's been awesome.
Countdown in Japanese. They did a countdown for our physical release.
Yeah,
like it's so cool. Like honestly, if we were doing a deluxe, that would be in the book. All of that would be in the book.
All of that.
Highlighting the fans, giving them more credit. Yeah, like oh my gosh, so good.
So sometimes, especially with those two, with Series 3, with the amazingness in Series 3, it makes me hate the whole supply chain stuff, that it just really wasn't the right time for us to consider doing deluxes for some of those games, you know? Because there's constant things. Imagine a cute little, like, Gale plush or something like that for feet, like, oh, how cool would that have been? But, you know, hey, it is what it is.
We're talking, like, we're looking into stuff like plushes and stuff. It's just, they have to be beneficial. We can't do giant ones, there's no way. But if we can do, like, some small ones, that would be really awesome. And with any item, though, the developer has to 100% sign off on it. So, it has to fall within their quality margins, too.
Yeah, so, okay, because I've definitely heard a bit about it from the community and doing streams and stuff. Do we have any plans to do some like community available premium edition games merch, like shirts, hats, stuff like that?
So JP ordered some shirts before premium, like those are the ones that Barry and him were wearing at the conventions and everything. And I mean, it would not be hard to either partner with like the Yeti or go to one of those other websites.
Yeah, Redbubble, something like that.
And you just order it through their website. Like, I would be okay with that.
That's what I was thinking, honestly. Even if we just have to make like a Redbubble store for the meantime until we can, you know, like actually like stock our own merchandise. I think clearly the people really want to rep us out. Look at that. Yeah, look at the mask.
The COVID mask with premium. Like, I mean, I didn't do that. This was the MGC, Frank. Remember this one?
Let's see. Oh, yep. Shout outs to those guys. Those guys were awesome.
Premonition Games.
I will always bring that to conventions because, like, what a cool way to tell people what you're about right off the bat.
Exactly, it's really cool. But yeah, I have no issues with making like specialized merch available. We do have some new items that'll be coming up because we alluded to it. Really, nobody's really talked about it like on streams or anything, but we have a pre-order bonus item for Series 3. And we haven't told anybody what it is. Let you all figure it out when you unbox them. It's going to be in the game. It'll be outside the game, but it'll be a bonus item. You'll have to let me know if you guys dig it, and we will do it for some older releases if everybody digs it. Frank's seen one of them.
Oh, yeah.
And he called the demo, and the demo's badass. So, I think it's really cool. And it's, it's nothing that we've done yet. It's free for everybody who got the pre-orders for Series 3. So, it'll be pretty cool. We'll make them available later for people to purchase at conventions or whatever. As we do other versions of games and things, because, Gamers for Gamers is at conventions too, and they're going to be doing some variants. Those will also be available to people online. Gamers for Gamers versions are going to, portions going to charity. They have a non-profit charity organization. They do. So, like, versions of or portions of theirs. So, it would be like, if you do a donation to that charity, you get to buy the game, type thing. So, that'll be what we'll be doing. If we ever do any variants or reprints or anything, that'll be it. Demon's Tier Plus is getting the first Gamers for Gamers version. Because
nice.
in Series 2, we had pre-ordered the slipcase, right? Well, they're doing a different slipcase for the Gamers for Gamers one. All those copies that we did without a slipcase of Demon's Tier, they were going to have a nice little small print run available. It'll be fun. Only doing stuff when it makes sense or if it can benefit the community or go to charity and stuff like that. So when we do a reprint.
Yeah, it's definitely, if we can, move stuff in the right direction, if we do a reprint and stuff like that, that's definitely an awesome extra reason to do a reprint.
Exactly. It'd be cool, man. Yeah, so we got any other craziness in the chat? I mean, people were
I was going to say, we're
nuts on stuff.
Yeah, we're just about 10 o'clock. Does anyone else want to drop any other questions, or we're going to probably start moving to wrapping up? So yeah, you guys got another, well, let's say we'll field questions for like another 10 minutes or so. And if we don't got anything too crazy by then we will call it quits. I want to show off just how awesome the slipcover for Volume 1 is.
Yeah, so here's the thing. You have the book in there, Frank?
Yeah.
So if you open up the front of the book and then flip it around to the front of the slipcase. Other side of the slipcase. No, hold it like this. Bring the slipcase up. Put it around. I'll put the book inside. I'll push it in. Docked. Notice there's a dock on the front.
Oh, okay.
But hardly anybody catches that. That is literally docked and undocked.
Okay. That's a good point. I see that because, yeah. So this has the dock and everything, and then this one has the Joy-Con. So it's... Okay. I can dig that.
I do. So here's the thing. I would say in each one of our releases, there are lots of those Easter eggs. So here's a good one. Super Blood Hockey. Right? Super Blood Hockey. In the manual, I have an Easter egg that is one quote that you get in the game and franchise mode.
And what is that, Jeff?
When you're playing franchise mode, after you give your kidneys, right? It says, don't worry, if one of your players dies, just throw them out back in the dumpster, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put a player inside the dumpster in the manual.
Perfect.
in the manual, I put a player in there just in the dumpster, like you just tossed him in there because you're listening to the coach.
Thank you so much for follow number 101, Ari Wolf. Thanks for stopping by tonight. So I have another question from Jokester. Jeff, given zero constraints or anything, what is a game that you would love to do a physical for? Zero constraints.
Zero constraints.
Yes,
wow.
I don't care what console it was made for. Anything. What game? What would your dream physical game that you get creative control to make be?
So, first and foremost, like, we all have a veto in Premium Edition, or if it's our favorite game of all time, we can kind of overrule everyone. Mine was a game that ended up getting a physical by Limited Run, which was Double Dragon 4. I wanted to release that one. Because I'm a huge Double Dragon 2. I actually can beat the world record in Double Dragon 2. I want to do Double Dragon 4.
You saw we played that last night, right? We played some Double Dragon 2 last night. You would hate watching me play it because I didn't know what I was doing.
I'll watch it play. But I would say if there are no constraints, man, like just 2 games that I would release. Number 1, there are 3.
Absolutely.
No constraints. I will do the guide. We'll do a deluxe edition.
Yeah, but mine would be a Mother
collection.
Mine would be a physical Switch Mother collection.
Yeah.
That like
exactly. Let me do Mother.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're talking
1, 2, 3, 1 cart, let's do this, baby. Like,
yeah. That's a Nintendo property. There's no way not. But I mean, if we're gonna go super crazy, like my favorite game on the Switch, close to my favorite game of all time, is Breath of the Wild. So let me do Breath of the Wild 2.
Heck yeah, absolutely. Premium Edition Games presents Breath of the Wild 2. I love the sound of that.
Like, don't even let us put our logo on it. Okay.
That's fine. Yeah, no problem. No worries. Just let us make the collector's
Nope.
edition. Let us make a deluxe edition of Breath of the Wild 2. Thank you very much.
I will tell you, Frank.
Oh god, that's gonna take a while to make that guide, Jeff. That's gonna take a while.
No, I'm not doing Before we were authorized for premium, I had an idea where we could have made stuff without having to do cartridges. So, and it's still part of our 5-year plan. Our 5-year plan is, we're going to become an actual developer and have our own games developed and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My idea was, all right, so what's to prevent us from taking a game that has a crappy release, a substandard release, but it's an amazing game? How many games do we have on the Switch have nothing on the inside?
Mm-hmm. White inside everything. Yeah, no manual, no nothing.
Say we get a game like that, and we know the developers. Let's do a premium edition of it. Oh, I mean, for example, let me just look on my... Look for one and let me find a bad game. I don't know. I gotta look for one now. Ah, I thought I was gonna find a really good example. So let's find a game. Okay, Square Enix. Put nothing in there. They got one little card. Got one little card in here for.
It's the download code, isn't it? Or is that the Japanese version?
Some download code in here.
Yeah, that's the second game. They don't even have both games on cart for that release.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is we take something like this, we do a double-sided, we do our manual, do our challenge card, we do our slipcase, our sleeve, we do a box for it. Like, let's think about this in the indie space. I was actually talking with a developer, Frank, before we launched.
Mm-hmm.
Because we, on the Playcast, we played a game called Tiny Barbarian.
Yeah, I know about that one.
It's a cool game. That game got a really fun release by Nicholas.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome release. Like, he was down, man. Like, he is like, we could do a novel Worlds of Power style.
Yes! Oh my god. The more people... One of my favorite things when it comes to this kind of stuff is letting the developer kind of elaborate on something after the fact. Like how we had Lauren elaborate on the story of the main character of the franchise mode of Super Blood Hockey after the fact with the comic we did. That's one of those things that you will always catch me urging us to do, is letting these developers elaborate on something that after the fact they were like, you know what, there needs to be a little bit more meat on the bones for this part, because afterthoughts are a bitch, like sometimes when you're done with everything you go, oh, I should have done that, or I should have talked about that, and so that's something that'll always be something that I personally gravitate towards too for our releases, is things like novels, comics, stuff like that.
So, this is my NES game. Wooden Box Edition. Black Box Challenge.
Ooh, there it
NES
is.
Release. NES CIB release of it. But the thing that's interesting with Black Box Challenge is that I am doing a Worlds of Power release. Doing a Worlds of Power book. I wrote it 5 years ago. So I have an artist. She actually worked on Disney animatronics, like The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
She's also a drawer. She's doing pencil artwork for it. So in the Worlds of Power book, think choose your adventure pencil stylistically. So it's going to be the world of the game that I've released to life. And it's going to be brought to life inside of this world. So I'm doing that, and I was like, all right, so then the follow-up could be Tiny Barbarian DX.
Yeah.
We had a small thing called Premium Edition games come up. And,
Little thing.
yeah, kind of sidetracked all of the extra book projects I was working on. And I'm still finishing up Black Box Challenges paperback. It's already templated out. It's like 300-page paperback, by the way. It's huge.
God, that's crazy. That's huge.
I mean, I got a book over here that has some of the similar, like, see these drawn art in this book. This book is called Zork. It's an old game. This is a choose your own adventure book for Zork. It's a gaming series that was on a type. It was only text based. It was on the Commodore 64 that I played growing up. The idea was to do our guides this big, Frank.
Oh, really? Like the old handbook size?
A Famicom guide for Splunker, and it's all hand-drawn guide. You know the hand-drawn guide guy? Hand-drawn guide? They did that in Japan in the 80s, in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Right here. They already did it. So, our hand-drawn game guides, which I have one right here for Legend of Zelda.
Ooh!
Another one for Contra and Ninja Gaiden. I have a couple of his guides. The Metroid one was the one that never got done, though. That's the one with the Kickstarter.
Oh, I gotta get those. Jeff, you and me, we gotta talk. I want those too. Thank you very much. We'll figure that out. I gotta get in connection with Philip so I can get those. That's so cool. At least the Zelda one. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is that the Zelda one's awesome. He took the Metroid one to Kickstarter. Nintendo put up some flags, so he just decided to take it down.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's where that went. But, we fortunately, since I was talking to him, because I was talking to him with the Metroid ones, I could help him do it, because we were have to print 1,000. Like, I can help you with that, so that way we can make sure you can get it out.
Yeah, no problem.
After that, though, it was, he was disappointed, and I was like, well, how about you do a mini guide for Cathedral for us? And he was excited, and now the book looks amazing. His style looks perfect. Perfect.
Oh yeah, I mean, it really is. It's a game that fits so perfectly with that aesthetic and that idea. So I'm sure the second he saw a little bit of it, he was like, yeah, this works. I can make this work.
Interesting too is that like a lot of our games have had a pixelated aesthetic to it.
Mm-hmm.
Then first game without it's Mighty Fight. Mighty Fight's our first one that's like ligonal.
Yeah, 3D models. Yeah.
We got all types of games coming up too. Like we got all types and styles.
Oh yeah, tons of stuff.
will tell you my favorite genre is Metroidvania, so I mean I will always gravitate when people make recommendations. We're like,
it's an easy sell for us as Metroidvanias. We're looking for that perfect RPG. We'll find it. That's the one I'm excited for. Don't you guys? I will not allow our first RPG release to be anything that I deem mediocre. I promise all of you people, our first RPG is going to be an absolute banger. I will make sure of it.
I need a Zelda style too.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I mean, that top-down action RPG. I need action RPG. Like, we haven't found one that's fit it perfectly yet, but like, and the key is though, it's not that there aren't games out there. It's that there's not games that are either not available or the developers aren't interested, or stuff like that. So if we reach out to a game that's available, sometimes they're just like, yeah, we're not interested. Sometimes they're not even interested in doing a physical period, which boggles our mind. But sometimes
very strange viewpoint, but okay, whatever.
Phoenotopia, like that developer did not want to do a physical because he was disappointed by the sales, and then it broke sales records for us.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we told you. Like, we played the game. I put in 40, 50 hours into Phoenotopia. Like, it's insane. I still haven't beaten it.
Such a cool game. Such a cool
in
game.
The end area. I'm
excited to revisit that on the stream and be able to actually, like, knock that whole game out.
Hey, all I gotta say, Frank, hey, all I can say, though, is JP beat Phoenotopia. JP can beat it. Anybody.
Oh, yeah. No, well, listen, anyone who is here for the skillful first playthrough of Phoenotopia saw me. At one point, Barry was like, yeah, I tried to try this like 10 times, and I did it on my first try, like right like that. I was like, yeah, I got the skills. Capital G Gamer, baby!
When Barry was telling me he beat Cathedral, I was like, really? Cathedral's very difficult at certain spots. Like, it requires...
Cathedral is a very punishing, methodical game. You can't really just go to town on it. You actually have to take your time, plan things out, and execute
What plans. I love is there's no penalty for death outside of losing some money, and you can invest that in the bank. So there's really no penalty if you're smart for death in Cathedral, which means that you continually go against that boss and die until you beat him. Like, figure it out, and like, you will get through it.
Yeah, you can dedicate yourself to that, like, muscle memory and pattern recognition, and I love being able to do that, like, unfettered.
Yeah, I want to say, though, like, some of our future games, we're not going for super hard every time. We're going for an amazing experience. So if it happens to be a hard game, we're not going to not sign it. If it happens to be an easy game, we're not going to not sign it. We're going to do all the things.
I think that's a pretty good note to call tonight to call tonight a wrap. I think that's a good set thing to say. You guys got a good little bit of information about what's to come. A little bit of information about stuff we want to do, about philosophies regarding all this stuff. It's been a good little Q&A sesh. We even got some Volume 2 updates out of the way. We're going to be getting a nice non-laggy update video for you guys on Kickstarter, and I'm going to make sure that Jeff sends it to me so we can put it on the YouTube as well for all of you lovely people to watch. But I would like to thank, first and foremost, every single one of you beautiful people who come on out every night that we do this stream and watch us. And secondly, I'd like to thank Jeff for coming on out, answering some questions, hanging out with me, and everything that gentleman does for me.
Do cool stuff. That's what I do. Yeah, it's been fun. Like, we'll have to take some of these, and like, if you give me the audio of this, I can put it up on the podcast stream too. We can have some extra bonus.
Absolutely, easily.
Frank Sessions.
The Frank Sessions. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and then that way, as long as it's, more of a, less of a playthrough, but we're doing like a talk like today, why not?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's always good to get, the more you can get content up and get it in multiple places, there's no reason not to, if it's already made, why not use it,
Exactly. That's where I was like, as soon as you said the video was a little laggy, I'm like, okay, yeah, we can't do the Kickstarter update, like, for the Kickstarter, but we can still talk it.
Exactly, because I'm still going to save this and I'll upload this to our YouTube as well, since it's all good stuff, so.
Now I can just balance books on head, and on the audio they won't be able to hear it. See?
Hold on, let me. I could just move this like this a little bit, and then I too can balance books on
They
head.
start walking around and moving around.
Thank you so much, all you beautiful people, for coming out to the Premium Edition game stream. Tonight has ended in a special way. I just want to say yet again, thank you to everyone who came out and watched. Thank you for Jeff. And let me get a beautiful ending to this, the way we do it on Super RPG Friends. Fuzzy Pickles, everyone. We will see you guys next time.
Mother convention confirmed. No, Mother collection confirmed.